What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network and the Stadia Dosage platform, back again with another SSC podcast. This is SSC podcast number 101. And we ended off, I don't want to say last season, whatever it is. I don't do the season thing. This isn't Game of Thrones. But nonetheless, we ended off last time with a bang with our good friends Clivey Linden, John Scar, and it was hosted by Lo-Fi Monk. And you guys thought we had a great show then. Well, I'm here to tell you that we got an even better show now. I am here with the one, the only, now she's going to have to correct me if I pronounce this wrong, DarkSakura.
Yes.
Jamie, did I get that right?
Close enough.
I'm not as good as Rob with this stuff. He's a pro. I tried to mimic him as best as I can, but hey,
Rob doesn't always get it right either.
Oh, yeah.
La, 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 la.
How are you doing today?
I am doing okay. I had some post-COVID icky are finally getting better, so actually
wow,
going back to work on Thursday.
Awesome. Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Just in time for me to go out to TwitchCon, so.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I got to make it to one of those things. Of course, I got to be fully cloaked and robed and hidden from the world, but I do want to. I do want to make it to
just
one of those.
Just do some Vader cosplay and no one will know it's you.
Exactly. Yeah, I can get away with that. Yeah, that'd be great.
Or you could do Legion cosplay and we could cosplay together.
Yes.
Like from Dead by Daylight.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yep. Idea spoken. We're going to collaboration is coming. So Jamie, a lot of people may not know who you are, and if they don't know, when I say a lot of people, then they don't watch this show. A lot of people know that when I talk about my podcast roots, it actually started with a show called Orange Lounge Radio, and that you're a host of. And I listened to that show religiously because it was the first show that talked about gaming that was fun, energetic, and you guys knew what you were talking about. So
most of the time.
No, all the time. In the roots, I mean, we're going to get into all this, but the roots where you started, like it's crazy to see how it all started. Just a couple of friends getting together to play a specific game. And now, like, one of the most pillar podcasts out there, as far as I'm concerned, you know, years later, it has emerged from it. I just want to let you know before we get started that I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm going to give you your flowers in advance. Like, you have been so instrumental to me even wanting to give this thing a try. I love listening to the trio. I love Rob. Rob is the master MC, Loki, side splitting. And I love those guys as well. But what really like anchored me into the show was hearing you and your takes, because I was always like, yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? Like, and
I'm very opinionated.
Yes, so am I. It gets me in trouble all the time on this side. You know what I mean? But but I really connected.
One of my besties, great minds think like us.
Yes, that is awesome. I like. Can I borrow that?
Sure, I already owe her rent on it.
We'll send her royalties after PAX or wherever.
Here, Becky, here's 5 cents.
But no, I mean, seriously, like, and I know I'm fanboying. So people are like, oh my God, I've never seen MM2K like this. But and one of the biggest things that happened for me when I knew that we as gamers had like a connection, and I really felt like that someone understood me, is when you were doing one of your games from the past. You know, you were doing like your retro games, and you picked Valis 2. And
Yeah.
Valis 2 and Valis 3 are two of my favorite games of all time. And I swore that I thought I was the only person on this planet that knew about those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got the PC Engine CD or the Turbo CD.
Yes. Yes. They were Sega Genesis games. Sega, I think, respectively, in Sega Genesis games. That's where I played them.
And see,
And
I had only ever knew of them for a while for TurboGrafx.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was a Super Nintendo kid.
Were you? Oh,
My
okay.
friend had a Turbo Duo.
Oh, wow.
And I played a few games on my friend's Turbo Duo. We played like, a bunch of Bonk and Adventure Island and
absolutely.
Some of those things. Yeah.
See, I was a Sega Genesis kid, and then I had a Super Nintendo too. I love Super Nintendo.
So was Dan, my husband.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, I love it, love it. And
now
then,
we just have all the things.
Oh, do you guys have like a big retro shelf and stuff like that?
Oh, good Lord, 40 something systems,
Ooh,
individual systems.
Wow.
Not counting dupes. I think we have like 3 Sega Saturns right now. We have a couple of Sega CD external systems. We have a CDX. We have a couple of 32Xs. A couple of Master Systems. A couple of Power Base converters. We got an aftermarket FM power converter, so you can listen to the FM soundtracks on Master System games. Atari 2600, a couple of 5200s, some 7800. All the Nintendo stuff going back. I even have a Game Boy Micro.
Wow. You know what?
Yeah.
There's I know someone that's listening to this right now, Stadia Pro Game, not to cut you off. I was just having like a nerdgasm right there, but the SPG, Stadia Pro Gaming, he's another great streamer that does content here on Stadia Dosage. He has a retro show. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but we definitely want to get you on there. You know what I mean? I think
so you say SPG and I think of Sacramento Pinball Group. Because we also have pinball.
Yeah. No, close. But no, SPG, Stadia Pro Gaming, great guy too, and he plays everything as well. But he appreciates the platform. They have a retro show that is actually going to air. Hell, it's probably, I think it's on now, as a matter of fact. Sorry, SPG. Well, we're not airing live, so SPG, I gave you some room. I didn't want to smother you now.
Shout out.
Great show, but yeah, booking my flight. Then that's a lot of great gaming gear down there, and it's awesome stuff. And always your take on current gaming. Retro gaming has always been a delight to me. And for anyone that doesn't listen to you, Rob, Loki, or follow your streams, they're really missing out. So we're going to have links to everything that you do that you allow us to have at the bottom. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for that.
It's a busy online life. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be.
Then I'm building props for cosplay this week. So
yeah, I'm glad to hear. You know what? Because Jamie, I didn't know that you were still into that, and I'm glad. But I saw some stuff on Twitter, and I said, "Oh, okay, she's still doing it." I'm glad to hear that you're still into that.
Yeah, I had to start over on a knife prop, but I think it's going to turn out okay. The one I'm worried about is it's a newer cosmetic for the pig in Dead by Daylight.
Okay,
I'm doing the cosmetic in the game that I wear, which is a combination of 3 different ones, and there's this one. She has a crown made out of half of the reverse bear trap from Saw, and then a mask meant to look be more of a tribute to Jigsaw.
Okay, and
it's attached to the crown. But so I actually load up the Steam version through Windows to my Windows in Parallels to rip the assets. And so that's how I have all these great models and references is because I ripped the assets straight from the game.
Oh yeah, yep. And you can do the same thing with Stadia. Someone showed me, and I'll show you. Even though you don't, yeah. Someone showed me.
See how that though works on a Mac. So
yeah, that is right. Yeah, we're gonna get into all that juicy because you've really enlightened me on how you're interacting with Stadia, and I think that just shows you some of the cross benefits of the platform. We'll definitely get into that, but before we get started with the interview, I do want to let people know that by the time you hear this, I would have done my open mic session. So if you haven't heard it, definitely check it out because there's some major changes coming to the channel, particularly with a lot of my content. A lot of my content is high energy, very opinionated. Like I said earlier, can get me in trouble. So what we're going to do is I think it's better. I mean, I'm very self-aware and you can't be everything for everybody. So what we're doing is a lot of that high energy content, we're going to put uncensored content as well. We're going to put that behind for the members, but we're bringing on more stuff all the time. So definitely check out Stadia Dosage. We got great content on here for your Stadia needs, and also check out stadiadosage.com. Don't forget too that
keep it PG.
No, you don't have. No. This is different. When I get a celebrity like you, Jamie, like you could say whatever the hell you want to say. You know what I mean? FCC rules do not apply. No, yeah, no,
all right.
You're fine. We a lot of people that haven't already been connected to the content that you do solo or with the panel. They're already familiar with everything, so I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be all right.
They know I throw out, I have a very British approach to cussing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. And we love it. Check out stadiadosage.com as well for the latest and greatest in Stadia news. So before we get into the interrogation, Jamie, one thing that we like to do is ask people what they've been playing for the past week, and it doesn't have to just be Stadia, just anything that you've been playing for the past week. What have you been having fun with?
So I have like a very small list of what I've had the attention span for lately, just because post-COVID brain fog.
Yeah.
So playing a lot of Dead by Daylight because that's my jam, and I do that on Stadia. I'm playing a little bit of Hooked on You, which is the Dead by Daylight dating sim, and that I run in Steam on my Parallels partition because it is PC only.
Okay.
I have also been playing, in fact, it's my Monday stream, I play Cult of the Lamb. And my Monday stream is supposed to be 3 hours. It easily goes 5 or 6 because I'm addicted to that game. Yeah. And it was really great when I had no voice because I really didn't have to talk a lot while I played it. 2 a.m, who wants to hear me blab? And then and actually Saturday is my retro night. So I've been doing a different SNES RPG, but trying to stick to Japanese versions or versions that didn't come out in the US. So I am playing Final Fantasy IV. I have a translated version that basically has a closer translation for the dialogue. So no spoony bards, but he does say "you son of a bitch."
Oh wow. That's cool.
It talks about death very, very frankly.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, he did.
Now, which one is 4? I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Is 4 the one with
the fat chocobo?
Okay. So in 5 and the ninja,
Kane
right?
And Cecil.
Yeah.
The twins, Pullum and Porum.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite one. Everyone picks 7, but that 4 is my favorite.
See, 6 was actually mine. And I did 6, although my translation didn't work, so I played the US one. And I'm either going to do Final Fantasy V or I might do Star Ocean.
Okay.
But before that, I did Terranigma, which is It is in the Illusion of Gaia series, but it only came out in Europe and Asia.
Okay.
So I played the European version, and it was a great game with a crappy ending. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I had the exact same feeling I did after watching The Mist in the theater.
Yeah, or Vanilla Sky. I know that people.
I didn't see Vanilla Sky,
Oh,
but
you
The
didn't?
Mist,
Oh, okay.
I liked the story, the book,
Okay.
and then that ending, I was like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, oh no, y'all can eat a big bag of dicks."
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
watch Vanilla Sky, and you'll be like, "Hold, what the fuck where did this come from?" You know. But
oh, I like weird stuff, but this
yeah, I do
was
too.
just like, well, yeah, this was not in the book. Here you go. Well, and for Terra Enigma, spoilers for a game that's older than a lot of people I know. Um, it's like, okay, well, all this, and you get reunited with your girl, but you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, game. Um, Before that, I did Seiken Densetsu 3.
Oh, okay.
Which we did get a remastered version as Trials of Mana.
Okay. Okay. No.
But I played the SNES one as SNES. So yeah, I'm trying to consider what I'm gonna do next, although I'm thinking that I might switch on to TurboGrafx games because I want to do Emerald Dragon.
That's a good one.
Or I mean, I've actually got Sega
actually.
Saturn stuff on here, so I may actually do the Saturn version of Grandia, which I do everything through an emulator, but it's all stuff I own the real game for. Like,
So
I have a Japanese and English Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy IV, and I have a Japanese cartridge of Final Fantasy V.
Oh, wow.
I have the NES cartridges for the first 3 Final Fantasies. So, if anyone has a problem with that, I'll be like, hey, it will take me a year to dig it out from this bin full of games, but I will prove I have it. But my other games, though, that I'm into is I play this game called Wordscapes because I'm a big word nerd.
Yeah, I heard of that one.
And yeah, if anyone has done Words with Friends, it's like the sliding circle puzzle where you have to slide around to make the word and do it kind of crossword style. I'm totally into that game. Like over 10,000 levels worth of into that game.
Yep.
I actually have been playing Bejeweled again.
Oh, wow.
Like, the butterfly mode was my jam for a while.
Hold on, Jamie.
So.
Are these games that you've played in the last year or just in the week alone?
This is in the week. Last week I played all of it. And I also have another one that I like to play that
I don't even
Apple
feel
Arcade.
worthy to do this interview anymore, but go ahead. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, this is more than what I usually do. It's just while I've been off work.
Gotcha. Okay.
But there's another game I absolutely love, and I'll admit sometimes I play it at work. But it's called Patterned.
Haven't heard of that
it's
one.
through Apple Arcade.
Okay.
I think you can buy a standalone of it, but basically it's these tiled hand-drawn backgrounds, and you get started off with the pencil work, and you get kind of almost Tetris shapes of the puzzle to put into the right place. And as you fill in more of the puzzle, the colors get bolder on each block that you filled in.
Okay.
And it has like this soothing music. It's just basically like my chill game. You know, when I don't want to think.
Yeah.
And it's a fun one. But those are my predominant ones. I'm gonna be starting Avengers just, for whenever.
Awesome. Another game on Stadia.
On Stadia.
Yeah, that's great.
But I got a few things that I picked up because, when something goes on super sale, I usually am like, I'm a consumer whore. And how?
Well, for the record, listeners, I try, like, DarkSakura plays everything. So I tried to lobby her.
Except Halo.
Yeah. I tried to get a. Oh. See, I'm not even worthy to do this interview. She just caught me off guard with that one. Yeah. Please, J-Lo fans, don't write me. I tried to lobby her to get her to join the Old Dirty Blasters Division 2 clan. She wasn't having it. So, like, yeah, I'm an Ubisoft.
The thing is like, the only first-person game I will play with any regularity is playing Killer on Dead by Daylight, which I played nothing but Killer
Killer, yeah.
until I started playing
I've
Survivor
noticed.
about 2 months ago.
Oh,
And
you
I
did?
didn't start
Oh,
playing
okay.
Survivor. See,
Okay.
I bought lots of cosmetics for my Survivor because they just existed to be dress-up dolls for me. And
Okay.
then there was a cosmetic I wanted, and the only way to get it was to adept the character. It was like during the anniversary thing.
Okay.
So
We're like,
my friend Gwen, who, if anyone's been in OLR chat or in mine, her name in there is Finara.
okay.
And she was my college roommate, and she's like, "Well, I'll be your meat shield if you want to learn Survivor." And now she's my accountant because she's a
Ah,
completionist,
awesome.
and so she wants to keep track of my achievements and how far I've made it through like
Awesome.
the challenges in the game. So
Shout out to Gwen.
she also
Oh
used to
man.
keep track of what I had in Animal Crossing.
Oh wow. Ooh. Well, that's yeah, geez, Louise. That's a level of dedication.
Yeah, she likes
Oh
spreadsheets. She's a
yeah.
tracker.
Yeah. I do too.
Oh, she was doing it in World of Warcraft.
Ooh. You know what? I know somebody that I work with, and I like the guy. He was a great guy, but they ended up firing him, and I was mad. um, he was one of my employees, and then my boss said, "No, he's not doing any work. Why is he still here?" And I'm like, because he has great potential." But what it was is his World of Warcraft. He was a big gamer, and his World of Warcraft sheets were like crazy. And he was when they monetized, or he was running some monetized whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, that's a level of dedication with spreadsheets and stuff like that. That is just beyond me.
Yeah, the only thing I was keeping them on was when I was collecting the Animal Crossing cards, so
Oh,
that I would
okay.
remember which one of the cards I wanted, because I only wanted like certain ones,
Yeah.
and so I was tracking those, but that was about it.
When I play RPG, and I like to call them RPGs. People say JRPGs, but they're the original RPGs to me, so I just call them RPG. I mean, I get it, but whatever. But when I'm playing RPGs or a turn-based RPG, it's very easy for you. Like if you stop for months and you come back for you to like, okay, what the hell is my character's name again, and what am I doing? So I'll use spreadsheets for that. Keep a catalog of where I was at or what page I was in my. I'm a cheater, so I use the Prima guides. What page I on my guide?
Oh,
And,
when I do my SNES RPGs, I'm just doing Game Genie codes the whole time just
oh,
because I
are you?
want to play. Yeah.
Hey,
I have earned that right.
yeah, exactly. When you've been gaming as long as we have, there is no such thing as cheating. It's just getting it done.
This is
Um,
me bringing out my cane and telling these kids to get off my lawn.
exactly. Just hitting them in the ankles. What I love to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Get the hell
But
off.
I would keep a diary for my D&D characters when I did tabletop,
Yeah,
so that if
you
I
would
had
have
to
to.
leave at any point, I
Mm-hmm.
knew not just what my character was doing, but
Yep.
what they were thinking, so I could get back into their mindset while I played.
Yep. My youngest son, he plays D&D. Yeah, he has a log too.
I'm a second edition person.
Oh, see, I'm not
Yeah,
that
where
familiar.
we had to calculate THACO. You know you're old when you know what THACO is.
I, I don't know
To
if
hit
that's
armor class, it
Greece.
stands for
Oh,
to hit armor class 0.
okay, great. I didn't know if that was some
Yeah.
type of offset of Crisco, some grease or something, but I was like, oh,
Eh,
okay.
it's one of those little acronyms.
All right. Yeah. The D&D
But
people
yeah.
used to be like when we were growing up, Jamie. The D&D people used to be in front of the arcades. I mean, it's different times now. I do a lot of get off my lawn speeches and tell the young people to fly a kite into a thunderstorm with all the stuff that they think gaming should be. When I was younger, man, like the D&D people would be in front of the arcade, and whether you were in it or not, it was just mesmerizing to watch them play. You sit there and watch them play for a little bit and try to understand what was going on and go in and play your Rampage or Street Fighter or Ultra
Let me
Beast.
into your cult.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and we appreciated all gamers. It wasn't you're only a gamer if you do this.
No, gaming is gaming. Be it board
Exactly.
gaming or arcade gaming, or you know, even the quote casual gaming, it's gaming.
It's
It's a
gaming.
different flavor of it, and the fact that we have such a wide variety of games and
Mm-hmm.
styles of gaming
Yep.
it really invites more people in and diversifies it.
Yep.
And I know that there's this contingent on
Mm.
there that are like, no, you're only a gamer if you do this and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
the same people who go on and fuss at any female presenting person
Oh yeah.
that they encounter in chats and whatnot. But what they don't seem to understand is that women, and I'm saying women loosely, but identifying women exceed the number of male gamers now.
Oh yeah.
And it was always about 50-50 for a long time, but now, even though we are more of the gaming population, we are one of the least well represented.
Yeah.
Not just as players, but in development in the industry. And as we're seeing evidenced by what was going on with Activision Blizzard and with Ubisoft, and now Nintendo's complaints.
I know.
You know, it's I'm gonna say this in a very generalized manner, but these shitty frat guy boys need to get the tree trunk out of their asses, and they need to have an attitude change because clearly their parents did not teach them well. You know.
So Jamie, and for our listeners, and you're really going to this is what I love about Jamie. This is what drew me to her as a creator, because of her staunch, in your face, matter of fact.
You can just say it. I'm a blunt bitch.
Well, no, it's not even opinions or it's just like no bullshit, and that's how, and it's like unapologetic, and that's what gets me in trouble here, because this is a newer community, Jamie, and sometimes they're like, oh, they got their pinky in the sky and shit, and they're like, oh, what did you say? And I'm like, yeah, that's what the fuck I said. Well, but
I'll tell you something. Amongst our first reviews for Orange Lounge Radio, I literally got one that said that I am too mouthy and need to go back into the kitchen to make a sandwich. And that was, and I thought about it for like a week. And then I was like, who the fuck are you? And you don't know shit about me. You're some little rando hiding behind your anonymity on an iTunes review. And you can just fuck right off, because I'm going to say whatever I want to say and you can't do shit about it.
Sitting on their grandmother's plaid couch, picking their navel. Girls belong here. I
don't even care, like, what level they are. They could have been some, like, like,
some high class.
It could have been some man child. It could have been some. It could have been some super traditionalist girl. Although, why were you listening to a gaming podcast then if that was you? But I'm just like, y'all don't know me.
Yeah.
Not me. And what you hear online of me is a fraction of the depth of who I am. So unless somebody knows me, is my friend, has spent time around me, then
you don't know me.
What you say doesn't really matter to me. I look for constructive feedback. If you say, oh, well, Jamie's mic had this issue, I'll be like, oh, well, thank you for the feedback. I'll fix it.
Exactly. Yep. That's some generalized, I think you should be doing, you as a collective should do this.
Or like, your review on this particular game, I disagree with this, and this point. So maybe why not try doing this in the game? And I'll be like, well, I will take that under advisement. I like feedback.
Exactly. Yeah. Not food fight. Yeah. Feedback, not food fight.
Fetch fest.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I had some, and that's I think, and you hit the nail right on the head, Jamie, because we were just jumping all over the young whippersnappers, right? And then we're talking about it's the what do you call that? The bro shooter gang. So we had, and again, there are moments from the bro shooter era that I loved, as far as the games that came out of that, and maybe some of the some of the goofy commercials and shit like that. But that motif that a gamer is supposed to look, sound, be like this, and only approve of X, Y, Z. That shit was for the birds. You know what I mean? And I had an example of that where, and it's a lot of young guys. Like I had to do a coming to Jesus speech with a bunch of people that were in my chat telling me, well, you know, I don't like how you said this, and I think this, and do better. And it's like, this is what my content is about. So if you don't agree with it, guess what? Go somewhere else. Fuck off.
And in the end, a gamer is one who games.
Exactly. Yep.
It does not have what you think a gamer is only a fraction of what a gamer is.
Exactly. It's a
and
part of
you
it.
don't
It's
get
a part
to
of
make
a
that
collage.
definition. You're not the gatekeeper of gaming.
Yes. Yes. These guys that are like 20, 21, they're trying to tell me I've been gaming for 35 plus years. You're trying to tell me what a gamer should be. You're trying to school me on what gaming.
I'm not going to be gaslit by these little schmucks either. I have been gaming before they were sperm.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So
tell me about it. Yes.
You know, if you can tell me that you played your first video game in 1978,
yes,
then maybe we'll talk.
Hey, come on, we'll have a conversation.
I was 2.
Yeah, I got started young too. Yep, got started young too. My uncle.
Well, my first movie was Star Wars.
Oh.
I was 9 months old. My mama was not popular that day at the theater.
I bet. Yeah. But yeah, we've been gaming for decades, and I find it funny when somebody doesn't necessarily take to what we have to say as a more as a take with more lineage to it. Well, no, I mean, I don't care what the lineage was. This is what I think it is now, and you need to adapt to this. Like, no, I don't.
Like,
this is
No, you need to know where you've been to know where you're going.
Exactly. Thank you.
Especially since so much today is like rehashed elements from older games.
Yes. Thank you. Exactly. Like I don't think a lot of these younger gamers get it, is that a lot of the shit that they're seeing now is, again, regurgitations of things before. And that's because the talent that used to be in gaming that would create these new ideas, they said, the hell with it. Fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore because you guys have these expectations that we can't meet. Publishers aren't doing us well. You guys want all you want is AAA games, and you want AAA games every 5 minutes. It's just not fathomable. Then we bust our ass to make these games, and because our game got a 92 Metacritic instead of a 93, we don't get paid. Like, fuck it, we're done. Yeah. I'm gonna go do computer age drafting over at CNN or some shit.
Try to expand yourself a little bit,
Exactly.
Look to the past. You'll find that's like, we even, of course they took the line from me, but I've always said that a system is only as good as the games that are on it.
Exactly.
And you might pick up something that looks like absolute garbola, but it's so fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cult of the Lamb isn't like one of the, I would say, like, I mean, it's very stylish, don't get me wrong, but it's graphically not complicated.
Yeah.
And yet it is so addicting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll just use that as a modern example.
Yep. It's blazing.
They know what makes a fun game.
Yep. That's what it's about. It's about having fun. If we spend more time focusing on what we're having fun with, opposed to what you shouldn't be doing or who shouldn't be doing that, I think gaming can get back on track to where it was headed in the right direction. I love the extra polygons. I love the extra compute units. But besides that, I'm not a fan of so much focus on you shouldn't be doing that. He can't do that. She can't do that. Opposed to us finding what we like. You know what I mean? So
that is exactly the case. That's exactly it.
Yeah, hopefully things will get better. Well, that was Sakura and MM2K telling you how gamers are shitty. All right, have a good night, y'all. Bye.
I know I derailed things quite a bit.
Oh, no. Because they probably thought I was bullshitting them earlier when I said that I really connect to you as a gamer. Everything that you said, they've heard me say and yell. And they're probably saying, he's this old bastard. He's the only person that thinks like this. And now they know that there's at least 2 of us. You know what I mean? So
At least two of us.
at least two of us.
And remember, like my friend says, great minds think like us.
Exactly. Exactamundo.
Yep.
All right.
See, it's all these little childrens that need to get caught up to our level of sophistication.
Yes, they do.
Mic drop. Actually, I can't drop my mic because it's expensive. But I will drop this cheap headset mic. Pop.
Yeah, just throw it against the wall. Just make sure it doesn't.
Just imagine I dropped one at the end.
Yeah, and it's true. It's true. You should always know lineage. You should always understand how things came about. It just Bill Gates.
No, you're right.
And
that's it.
Yeah, and Yoshida didn't just wake up one day and snapped her fingers and PlayStation and Xbox existed and were premier platforms. You got to know the history, understand why things are the way that they are. All right,
go back and play some actual Metroid.
Oh, and I was getting into an argument.
Then cry.
DarkSakura, I was talking to somebody who I love him to death, but he's a jackass on my way back from because you had to go do something. Like and exactly, you still love them, but they're jackasses. You had to go run do something. I had to run and do something, and my friend called me, and I said, "Look, I'm going to have a conversation with one of my favorite people of all time." And I said, this is going to be great, and this and that. And I started going off on a rant about gaming because I just had a feeling we were going to have this great conversation about the state of gaming, even though I didn't have it tagged anywhere. And then we got on the discussion of Valis. I was like, yeah, I knew she was a great gamer when she called out Valis 3 and made me feel like that I wasn't the only gamer that liked it. And he was like, well, what is Valis 3? And I was like, oh, it's a game where you have these badass female protagonists and this and that. And he's like, oh, here we go again. And I'm like, here we go again with what? What are we talking? So we had one of those conversations. And I'm like, were you like screaming bloody murder when Samus took her helmet off? And it was a female, you know what I mean? It was a female.
I was thrilled. Well, my favorite game ever has a female protagonist. The Guardian Legend.
Ah, yes.
It's a compile shooter, so that right there tells you that it's hard as balls as a shooter.
Yes.
It has action RPG exploration elements to it, almost like a Zelda style overworld, but you've got like different like sometimes little boss enemies on different stages where you'll get weapon upgrades and things like that, and then you have to unlock doors and go explore. And but when you first start the game, you're in spaceship mode, and then when you land, the ship transforms into into the Guardian, who is a female explorer.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know, I mean, I know I've done it for classic game, but is that it's actually a sequel to an MSX game called Gardic. So the Japanese version is Gardic Gaiden, Legend of Gardic. Or not that's Densetsu. A Gardic side story. But we got it as the Guardian Legend, and that it's one of the best, most challenging games I have ever played in my life. I can no longer beat the game. And partially because we have to dig out our actual CRT TV for me to play it without input lag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because that's the one problem with our modern TV is that the input lag is pretty terrible.
Can I ask you a question on that? Because shout out to a good friend of mine who, I guess it was the big CRTV craze last year, right? Where everybody wanted to, because they were young and they didn't realize how great. And I used to game solely on CRTs for a while, and
that's all we had.
And then as we got these flat panels, I gave
like
all mine away.
TVs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Well, then even as these flat panels were coming out at first, I didn't even use them. I still use my CRT, and I used something called a VGA splitter, where you could take components and use the VGA port. So it's been a while since I've gamed on one. And my question for you is, so is it true? Again, I should know this but it's been a while since I've done it. Is it true that we're talking about frames per second that can get up to like 500 or so. I've heard like ridiculous numbers that people were getting with CRTs as far as frames.
The thing is that anything above 60 is useless.
Okay.
When you're getting up to, like, say, if something is going at, say, 240 frames a second,
Mm-hmm.
then you are looking at exposure, more like
Okay.
a longer exposure. The human eye, I don't even think sees at a proper 60 FPS.
Ooh.
Those TVs now, and I know this from my job,
Okay.
as I work with video editing software.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most encoding for like American TV, I want to say, is at 58.2 frames per second.
Gotcha. Yep.
Europe is a little bit different, from PAL.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not ever gonna get anything as far as like what you're watching on TV that's gonna be a true 60
Mm-hmm.
frames per
60.
second. And in a game, honestly, I think that between 50 and 60 frames per second are going to look fairly identical to the untrained eye.
Mm.
Um, I will regularly, when I do videos, I might do 52 frames per second for my videos.
Okay.
Um, because I mean, it's nice to have the full output, but anything higher than that, then it's not gonna make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
human eye is not going to be as sensitive as the digital eye.
Okay. Yeah,
Now, with a CRT,
mm-hmm.
the other thing that you're dealing with, where we have these high definition LCD monitors and everything, with a CRT TV, you're typically going to be dealing with refresh rates on that particular monitor. And it's going to, by default, have a lower refresh rate than one of your newer monitors. On top of that, it's going to, I want to say that more often than not, they're like progressive scan.
Okay.
So, um, and you're also dealing with a higher rate, I'm sorry, not a higher, but a lower resolution for RGB. Have a lot more, like, if you get up close
Oh.
on like your widescreen TV, you're not
Yeah.
necessarily going to see the RGB pixels, but if you do that
Mm-hmm.
on, like, I have a Wega,
Mm-hmm.
my
Okay.
CRT, you can still see the RGB on a Wega, and if you go on an even older TV, when you get right up on it, you don't see image, you see RGB.
Oh, okay.
um and also going into color theory, when you're doing print, of course, that's CMYK,
Okay.
cyan, magenta, yellow, and black,
Okay.
where anything that's coming out made of light is going to be red, green, blue. So, with the newer TVs, you're going to get a much richer quality
Mm-hmm.
of color, because it's going to be that many more pixels. So I think that if you're taking something going back to the original thing, if you're taking something that's 60 frames per second, but you're doing it on a lower resolution monitor that's
Mm-hmm.
going to have a lower refresh rate, it's not there's not any point on it. I
Okay.
just don't see a point. You may as
Gotcha.
well, do 30 FPS
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing on that. Now, if you're doing a direct capture
Mm-hmm.
while you personally are playing it on this TV, then you would want to go for a 60 frames per second, but I still don't think anything higher than 60 is going to be worth it.
Yeah. I made that argument without knowing any of that, but I made that argument
Your
just
instincts were good.
yeah, exactly. Like but I made that comment because a lot of the things that we hear on Stadia is that yeah, Stadia is not good at such and such because such and such can do 500 frames per second. I'm like, look, give me 60 and I'm good. And I said, even for better resolution, I'll take 50. And everybody's like, oh no, hell no. Where's the pitchforks? Burn him at the stake. And I'm like, no, I'm like, can you guys really know? Like, if it's a flat 50, can you guys really notice it? Oh yeah, I can note. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
I think we have people who don't have a fundamental understanding of how time works.
Yeah.
Or animation. Because
Okay.
basically the frames per second is going back to basic fundamentals of animation.
Okay.
The more frames that you have in a second, yes, the smoother it is.
Mm-hmm.
However, again, you're also dealing with human biology and your output from your source.
Okay.
So I think that the average eye isn't going to be able to see anything
I
much
agree.
different,
I agree.
unless you are now. For example, I have an art background. My degree is graphic design. I am used to looking at the minutia.
Yeah.
But not everybody is. It's not going to matter.
Exactly.
They
Yes.
put these numbers on here and convince people that these numbers are the best thing ever. And if it's not, I like to do the analogy from Saturday Night Live. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. But if it's not high pixels, it's crap. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I think that a lot of people need to get off their freaking high horse and educate themselves in, first of all, color theory to understand how light works, in a little bit of human biology to understand your own ability to see and how much you see, and then, understand the basics of animation, which is going into frames. Look at old movies that ran on a reel,
Yeah.
how of course, the more reels running faster, that's going to, be smoother animation. It's going to look more true to life. But they're still going to hit a point where your eyes are not going to discern a difference.
Yeah.
End of story. What's the point? I would rather play a game that looks pretty good and plays great than have a game that is like the smoothest, butteriest game ever that plays like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's too busy processing all of this gorgeousness.
Yeah.
It's like dating a dumb supermodel than, or dating a pretty but smart person.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, so what do you say to the people that are like, because I one of my good friends said to me, which I shot him down. I love him, but I had to shoot him down. He was like, I want to play my games at 1080p, 250 frames per second. Stadia can't do that, so they suck. I mean, what do you think? What would you say to that?
Why? Explain to me your reasoning behind your opinion in quantifiable terms.
Because someone told me it looks better. I mean, that's basically it.
All right, who was the someone? Where did they get their information from?
Exactly. Yeah. Whoever speaks the loudest.
I'm like that with
Jamie,
everything. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Kicking the tires, but these new gamers don't do it. They don't do it.
You should see me talking to my mama. Oh God. But I mean, I'll just sit down. I mean, if they can explain why in quantifiable terms, then yeah, I'll listen to their argument. But if it's just, oh, well, I read it here or so-and-so said this, I'd be like, then you don't have a fundamental understanding enough to form a valid opinion. The end. I
like this guy. He recognizes me in his chat. That's why it does. That's what it boils down to, Jamie, nowadays.
Oh, come on. Everyone's, says that, like, Otsdarva has, like, all of the definitive Dead by Daylight lists. And I'd be like, yeah, he's a great gamer, and his lists are typically good, but this is based on his way of playing, and doesn't have anything to do with my way of playing.
Yep.
So that's subjective. If it's like, well, this particular perk will do this and this, this and this, and because of this, it is more versatile than this perk. I'm like, okay, well then I will go with that. I don't know why I threw Otz out there. He's just the one everyone talks about for Dead by Daylight. Cool guy. But that's the thing. I need your reasoning to have substance that backs it up.
Yeah.
You need to have, there needs to be some meat with them potatoes, or else it's just empty carbs. And while empty carbs, yes, are delicious, they're not gonna put meat on your bones.
Exactly.
Not gonna give you the same level of satisfaction. I mean, or impossible meat if you go that way. But you know what I mean. It's the.
Well, some people just. I always use a moniker. Do you want to be educated or do you want to belong? Some people just want to
Yeah.
belong. So they see the flock of sheep that are rolling under this person with the blue check mark, and they're like, okay, well, that's where I'm going, and I will defend them rigorously, and it is whatever they say, because this is my group, this is my flag.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But my
silly
usual
crazy.
argument is why.
Yeah,
And
yep.
if someone can't answer definitively why,
They start breaking down
then I'm
syntax error. Yeah,
I'm done listening.
yeah, yeah. Same here. Oh, people get so mad at
I'm
me when I
bored.
do that. See, do you guys get it now? Why I am the way that I am? This is just old gamers' habits. Like we drank our Metamucil and Tang. We have our Nabisco cookie treats, and this is just how we handle the world. Like, this is all the same stuff that I do, that I get in so much trouble here, Jamie.
While all of them are drinking their IPAs, we're sitting back with the Guinness going, all right.
I love it.
Well, and that and IPAs are gross, but that's my
Yeah, I love it. Oh, no. How dare you, Oh, I love it. Jesus. Yes. You
God,
have to come back.
Just slightly off tangent because, Orange Lounge stuff, we go off tangent.
Yes.
I went to go look for a good stout the other day, like a particular stout. I was looking for the Belching Beaver peanut butter milk stout because it's one of my favorite.
Oh, okay.
And I had to go through 5 rows of IPAs before I found the one little section that had the stouts in it. Yep. And I was about to riot right there in the aisle of Total Wine.
Yes.
Okay. Over.
No, the only thing I can say, Jamie, is I feel you so much. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. All right, so let's listen. We could do this all day, and Dan is probably saying no, but you're not. But let's get into DarkSakura, the gamer. Let's get into that. I love this, and we got to do this again. But I want to be check the time real quick, Jamie, and make sure, because I know you got things to do. Are we good? Can we finish? Or
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. OLR isn't for another 3+ hours. So.
Okay, great. Yes, and oh my God, well, we're not filming this live, but when I finish, I am going to drop all the links to OLR, and if my wife doesn't have me do 1,000 different things, I'll be in the chat causing the old school
cool.
mayhem. Yeah, this is fantastic. They're probably saying right now, as they're listening to this when this airs, yeah, can we get rid of Hellman? Can she come and host this thing, please? All right, so let's start with DarkSakura's background. Again, I want to welcome you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the club. We do want to welcome you again to the show, and for making this. Again, my favorite. And I love episode 100. Episode 100 is great. And Clive and John and them will understand. But again, this is me. This is MM2K being MM2K. And over the last few weeks, with a lot of the silliness in the community, you guys have seen me a little bit more, be myself and not say, oh, I don't want to say this because you guys, it might hurt the pinky that you got hanging in the air. We're and this is just confirmation that we're going to continue to do that. But again, they're here for you, Jamie, not me. For those who may not follow your content, please talk a little bit about your platform, or a lot about your platform, and everything you do in relation to gaming.
All right, good. So I'll start with Orange Lounge specifically. A little bit of origin of us. Going actually before that, I was friends with Rob through who at the best time was my friend Jessica. Mm-hmm. We are no longer talking. But Rob and I stayed great friends.
Yep.
And we all met up to go play Para Para Paradise at Milpitas Golfland.
Mm-hmm.
And we hit it off, and we kept, doing different outings to play different games. And I ended up being a guest host filling in for Jessica on Under Sedation Live, which is a Rocky Horror well, it originally was a Rocky Horror podcast.
Yes.
Done by a mutual friend, Travis Donovan. That's his stage name. And so Rob and I started talking, like, we should do our own podcast because we're all into these music games and everything, and no one's done one. Well, we didn't say podcast. It was live radio at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we came up with, we thought Orange Lounge would be good because there is a band that did a lot of music in Beatmania 2DX called Orange Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
We became Orange Lounge Radio. And we knew no one was going to get it, and we picked it anyway. So we started off, I had a migraine the whole first episode. I was like half passed out in this giant armchair.
Oh, wow.
With like one of my old work headsets.
Mm-hmm.
But we even had like a refreshing webcam that would just reload a picture every minute. So, but we did it all live through Live 365, and we loved our music games. But after a while, it was starting to die off. I'll admit it was starting to die off. And we started, when podcasting became a thing, we started doing like a little 15-minute to-go edition, and then we were like, well, why don't we just turn the show into a podcast? And we had 2 parts. And we've always had like a little like webcam or live thing, going on. And then we were going through Just TV for a hot minute, which of course, as we know, became Twitch. We joined with the All Games Radio network, where we're friends with Bobby Blackwolf,
Bobby,
who has his own great show out of Atlanta.
Yes.
And later on, we're just like, why don't we do our own network? And so that's where Voice of Geeks came from, VOG Network. And so we just going, we hit our 20th year.
Jesus. Fantastic.
And we've all like done a lot of self-discovery and learned who we're all now seasoned adults, I should say. We know where we stand in gaming. We know what we like, and we have experience to back up our opinions. On top of that, I think that age has lent perspective to a lot of us too, because now we can see a bigger picture.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and through each of us, like, I don't know if I would have gotten as into Mass Effect as I did if Rob hadn't said, hey, you would like this game.
Yeah.
And so I started playing. And, now I wasn't into Mass Effect at all at first. Not Mass Effect, Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
Until I started watching streamers play it. And then a week later, I revived my Twitch channel just to play Dead by Daylight. And I was addicted, and I've been back to streaming for a little over a year. My channel I had since 2017, and I used to do weird dating sims like Katoful Boyfriend. The game where you date pigeons.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, that game, don't get me started. It started off as an April Fool's joke in Japan and eventually became a popular series.
Oh, wow.
People like quirky.
Yeah, exactly.
And whimsical. But I mean, I introduced like games to those guys as well, because like, I don't know, Rob hadn't played Guardian Legend before I mentioned it, and he totally got into it. And we still have the Chrono Trigger versus Super Metroid argument regularly.
Oh. Are you Super Metroid, Jamie, or is it Rob that's Super Metroid?
Rob is Super Metroid. Now, I love Super Metroid. Don't get me wrong. But I will more often go back and play a new game plus on Chrono Trigger because I have the cartridge and I have my original game file.
Wow.
As long as that battery lives, knock on particle board.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we haven't lost our love of the music gaming genre. In fact, at California Extreme, which is I think where I got COVID.
Oh wow.
They had they had a 2DX machine, but they had a Beatmania 3, the final, which is probably one of my favorite music games to play. Is old 5-key and has like the classic songs in it, and I played a lot of that, and I played some Beat, and I played Sound Voltex, some of the newer stuff. And then I went and played a whole bunch of old arcade machines and all. pinball's like really become a bigger thing for me because my spouse has always been into pinball and then started collecting, and so we have plenty of pinball discussion. In fact, I used to have for 1 year I had a classic pinball of the month segment.
Oh,
Um,
how did
this
I
month
miss
I'm
that?
doing classic handheld systems like the old
Okay,
Tiger ones,
okay, I missed
and
that. I missed the
and
classic
I
pinball.
also started making our theme song. I do a lot of our video editing, you know, and I do all the audio and video editing for my Twitch channel. Um, and going back to Twitch was kind of a big thing for me because I kind of got bullied off the first time.
Mm.
You know, the whole "oh girl blah blah blah"
Oh, that
come
crap!
harass
Oh,
me.
Jesus Christ!
But I'm in a really protective community now. The
Mm-hmm.
Dead by Daylight community, at least the aspects of it that I'm in, which is mostly the LGBTQIA plus,
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot of us have each other's back,
Yeah.
and I've been super super happy about it. Um, I play with some amazing people, and I'm looking forward to Con.
Well, and I want to throw in there too. See, I was in my own little world then, trying to get my own content up, and I missed that. But I tell you this, Jamie, as the Stadia Dosage community will have your back too. So you guys,
Oh yeah.
you check the links below that we have, and then you see anybody giving Jamie a hard time, you guys know what to do.
Well, do you remember the whole thing going on Twitch with all the hate raids?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, I got hate raided once,
oh
and
wow,
my mods were right on top of blocking while I went and go asked another friend, "Hey, how did you do the removal thing that you did when you got hate raided?" And he gave me the
yeah,
link, and then it took maybe 15 minutes to get full control back over my channel.
Jesus Christ,
And then I kept going.
yeah, yeah, cool.
So
Yep.
when that's another thing that I tell people too, that if you are gonna stream or do a podcast, um true, you will build up a more specific community after you have
Mm-hmm.
started,
Mm-hmm.
but make friends in the community before you dip your foot in the water, I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
and build yourself up a support network so that
Mm-hmm.
when you go in, you have people that you can ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree.
And it's not competition to get help
Mm-hmm.
from another
Mm-hmm.
podcaster.
Yeah.
It's building a community of people who are supporting free radio, as I like to
Exactly.
look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, another of my favorite movies was Pump Up the Volume,
Mm-hmm.
where they were using, like ham radio to put out their own shows and to have their own voices heard away from like the corporate mainstream stuff. And that's what I look at our podcasting and our live radio as something like that. So
Absolutely.
we have to keep the free voices free.
Exactly. It's silly stuff. A good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, Proper's Place. Yeah, he got one of those raids, and I said, "Wow!" And we were talking before the show. There's a lot of things that I like about Twitch than I do over YouTube gaming. It's just that silly, crazy, silly, wacko element that's out there.
Yeah.
It's
There's
unfortunate.
always going to be hateful people out there who want to
Yeah,
ruin other people's fun.
yeah, miserable.
And
They're miserable.
like, I'll go back to Dead by Daylight. You know, if we have like a particular sweaty, hateful, camping piece of shit killer when I'm playing Survivor,
Yeah.
I may sometimes say something mocking because it just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it makes me happy to say something witty that they have no retort. Um, but most of the time, I won't even stay to acknowledge their existence. I will leave the
Yeah.
feedback through the little feedback tool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll move on with my day.
Yep. Yep.
Although I was playing with another friend on Friday, and we had gotten, because too many people are playing Wesker in that game now. The new Resident Evil chapter is out,
Oh,
and
okay.
we just all quit our match at the same time. We're like, we're done. We're gonna have 5 minutes and just hang out and talk.
Exactly. Yeah. No, awesome game. Shout out to Lukey6. We were talking about him earlier. Shout out to him. He's known in the Stadia community for playing that game as well. So yeah.
One of my people.
Awesome stuff. Awesome.
One of us.
Yeah.
And if
So,
anyone's wondering, I am a pig main, and then I play Nia as Survivor. So.
oh, okay. All right. All right. My son loves it. That's matter of fact, he's a big like, you know, some of these kids, they still are in their console war state of mind. And I pick with him. I'm more on Stadia, he's more on GFN. So the only game that he plays on Stadia is Dead by Daylight. We go back and forth which ones we think is better. But yeah, he loves like Dead by Daylight.
He's welcome to Swift with me.
Okay, all right. We'll let him know, and he'll be. My son is one of those to where, again, he's a big time fighter for, like you said, Jamie, free radio. You know what I mean, and diversification, but sometimes he takes it a little bit, or maybe some people wouldn't call it too far. He takes it a little bit too far, where he'll send. He used to send out viruses to hateful people's PCs and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, like
I love being on a Mac.
Yeah. I'm like, son, I get it. The person was a jerk and being mean to other people. Don't do that. Don't do that, son.
That's just petty. Yeah. Well, on top of that, I also do have a strict rule that when I am swiffing while streaming, no one under 18.
Yeah.
Because my channel is mature.
Exactly. Yep.
We say very immature things.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he had to, but this was something that he was just too smart for his own damn good at. He was just when he was 13 doing. But they said this, Dad, and it was so hateful.
You know what? You know what'll teach him? Put him on roller skates at a skating rink and make him play a video game.
Well, that's new. Yeah, I'll try that.
To this day, I still can't play Frogger well if I'm not on roller skates.
Oh, what?
I learned how to play Frogger on roller skates today.
Oh, wow.
When I tried to play Frogger in the arcade without roller skates,
you couldn't do it.
First of all, I was a good 4 inches shorter. And
I got you.
My body, I didn't have to do the balancing. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was what we had to grow up with. Screw the walking uphill twice. We did it on roller skates.
Awesome. So you've already told us, Jamie, how long you've been gaming since 78, which a lot of people are like, what, games were around before 95? Yes, they were. They were around before 95.
Technically, the first video game was built on a sonar machine in 1946, if I recall correctly.
Okay. I don't know why I thought it was 60. I was doing a reciprocal of that. I thought it was 64, but no, that might be
built on an oscilloscope. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, the game has been around for a while. A lot of people, again, learn your lineage. Learn the lineage.
The first cartridge-based system was actually designed by a man of color for the Fairchild. It was the Fairchild Channel F.
Yep.
I mean, by today's standards, it was, not really like the best, system. It was actually a little bit clunky to play, but everyone owes themselves to look up Jerry Lawson.
Yes,
he is probably the founder of our modern concept of video game systems, and the man was a genius, just an absolute genius. But he created the technology of using cartridge-based media, and then he licensed it out in January of 1976. So the year I was born, not the month I was born, but the year I was born.
And you can check that out on what is that on Netflix? I heard it before Netflix. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, for you young whippersnappers, yeah, you can validate what we're telling you.
Jerry Lawson.
Yep. And again, it was clunky, but again, it set a foundation for what other people enhanced and brought to you a more smoother transitioning too. So definitely check that out.
The first system I played a whole lot of, though, was an Odyssey 2.
Oh, I heard
my neighbors had one.
Yeah.
And then we got a ColecoVision.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
I still own my ColecoVision.
Oh my
and we
gosh,
have a second one.
No. You got to be kidding me.
I have my original. We cleaned it up real nice. It still works great. I had the turbo wheel so I could play turbo. Play some old Sega games on a ColecoVision. Adventure and Mousetrap and
Wow.
Gorf.
Yes.
Gorf was also my jam. Now my
Yes.
mom
Oh
loved
my
Space Fury.
gosh. Nerdgasm. Yes.
Oh yeah, my
Oh.
mom was good at Space Fury and Carnival.
Oh. Okay. She played too. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Oh, I've got a picture now. I mean, the man is a jackass, but my stepdad at the time, there's a picture of him playing the machine and me on the floor next to him watching. Another one with my mom playing with my brother in her lap when he was still a young toddler. It's on our big old cabinet style TV. You remember them?
Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The backbreakers.
And
yeah.
like my first computer, I had one of the TI computers, and I also had a Coleco Atom
Oh
that
wow.
used cassette decks.
Jesus.
And being in the South with all the rain,
Yeah.
well, the power supply hooked up very close to the tape deck. And I'll just put it this way. If you find a Coleco cassette that still hasn't been erased yet, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
It might be worth some money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, because way too many of them you find now
might be worth some money. Oh yeah. Absolutely. You have a treasure chest yourself. Yeah, I hope you got like armed guards standing by it.
Oh, we don't have that. We don't have it anymore, but I actually do have a couple of new inbox, or I should say in blister pack cassettes. I just don't know if they're good.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I got them for the novelty's sake.
Well, yeah, see, you're in California now, so there's a lot of that stuff that may be a little bit more ready available, or you may have ordered a lot of it online too, right?
But the markets right now are just utter crap.
Yeah.
Because now people know the value of their stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
more so than ever.
We a few years ago got offered a trade of a pinball table about $2,000 or so for 2 of our games.
Oh wow.
Final Fight Guy and Mighty Final Fight.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And that just, the other thing too, that the problem with this is that you may have the games that are worth all of this money now, but when you try to go to sell it, are people actually going to pay you what it's worth?
Exactly.
If someone paid us full price right now, we could get like 750 for a copy of Ninja Gaiden Trilogy.
Oh wow! Oh yeah!
Right
oh geez, they got that too. Oh my gosh!
Our Final Fight Guy. We pieced everything back together, but we have it in the box with the manual.
Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We have, and there's still games that I want to own that I'm probably never going to be able to get my hands on, like Radiant Silvergun.
Yep.
I've played it in an arcade once.
Yeah, I when I was younger. I want to say about a good 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, Jamie, when people didn't know the value, like you said, of these classic games. Like even more recent, like I would buy Amazing Spider-Man, right, 2 for PlayStation. And if it had a smudge on it, there was a local store here. They're called the Exchange. They used to be the Video Game Exchange. Now they're called the Record Exchange. If there was a smudge on it, they would heavily mark it down to like $5, which was insane. So I made a living off of going there every Thursday because that's when they put their new games up. And I would buy all the ridiculously marked down games to $5, trade them into EB Games at the time, and get like $30 credit for each one. So off of that, go ahead.
I have a story of when I got my copy of Grandia for Saturn. At the time, now this is still before like the big boom, but even then it was going for like, between 50 and 70 about 10 years ago. And I remember being at one of the last anime expos I went to, and I had bought a copy for $5 that looked all scratched up, but it wasn't scratched. It had glue on it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I sat carefully peeling the glue off.
Yeah.
And I have perfect copy of Grandia. I mean, it's in Japanese, and my friend, before she moved to Japan, she came over and played it. And I played Grandia 2 in Japanese. And then when the US one came out, because that was on Dreamcast, I found my save file from the Japanese version worked on the English one.
That's awesome. We used to, oh my gosh. You young kids don't know. See, you young kids don't know about that.
This was our struggle, thrifting and going out to find certain things. Well, and
Yep.
even now though, the thrift stores know some of what it's worth,
Oh, they
you
know
know,
now. Yeah, they know. Yeah,
or,
you're
or
not going.
they,
Yeah,
or in some cases they think they do, and then I'll be like, this game isn't worth much.
yeah, and they'll overprice
Seriously.
it. So let me ask you that Grandia that's going to run like what, at least 250? I would think.
And
Or
the
am I?
Saturn version of it is like the original. It is the best version. The PlayStation 1 had
Mm,
some weird
yeah,
scaling,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's yeah. Everything's either overpriced, like you said. Because I remember going. Now that I go into the exchange, oh yeah, there's no more five. There's no more $5. Yeah, everything is super high. Like I remember, they had a copy of Grandia 2 for PlayStation. I want to say about maybe 7 years ago, and this same copy's been sitting there in this one store because it was a version of the exchange that a lot of people didn't go to, or a lot of collectors. I don't want to say people, but a lot of collectors didn't go to. So this copy of Grandia 2 sat for a while, and I remember, it was there. It was like at $55. You know what I mean? Which,
okay,
if you think of,
Grandia's not really worth that much anymore.
oh, it's not. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. See,
Yeah,
I've been off.
I mean back then it was.
But now I went in the store just 2 years ago for shits and giggles, $150.
Grandia's going for like, okay, there's one for 176. There's
Okay.
another one for 60. So I mean, but still, it doesn't fetch the same price as it used to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, I think that they just they overmarked it. They definitely.
yeah.
So they know that everybody's getting hep to the financial potentialities that are in gaming right now. So so.
But I mean, but now people are like, oh no, this is worth all of this, and I'm like, no.
No. Yeah.
Absolutely. Or I bought this when it was this much.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could have bought this when it was this much, and why did I not?
Yeah. Yep.
Just sort of like missing out on getting a copy of Snatcher on a PC Engine, back in the day.
Oh, see that one loses me.
I'm sorry?
I said that one loses me. Like what game was that? Snatcher.
Snatcher is an early Kojima game. Did Snatcher, Police Knots. Snatcher was this sort of futuristic cyborgy sort of cyberpunk game. But it's been considered one of the holy grails.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, don't mind me, Jamie. Like my memory is shot. Don't mind me.
But like one of our other ones that we've got, we have like a bunch of the Sega Saturn shooters, and those are going for some money now. Like, like the remakes of the old Konami classics, like, the Salamander Deluxe and the Proteus Deluxe Pack and whatnot. So it's just collecting has gotten rich.
Yeah, it's big. And when you if you ever watch Retro, I forgot Retro Runaway, I think the name of the show was SPG. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. If you watch that, you'll see like how, where it was an anomaly back in the day to see collectors, unless we all congregated with each other. Like I collected for a while. Like I used to collect, again, I prefer just turn-based RPG, but people say JRPGs. I used to collect, I had a shitload of JRPGs collected, and in the several moves that I made, I've lost a bunch of them. And it used to be an anomaly, but now more and more people are collecting like crazy. And it's just insane to see their collection. So, yeah. Amazing stuff.
Well, and I also think that sometimes now, I mean, just going back to gaming in general now, we're not, I think, seeing the variety.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we do sometimes get people who will do, sort of I'm thinking of, that will do something different, something innovative, but they're taking a massive risk when they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
But back then, I mean, and now it's all the quirky stuff is what everybody wants.
It's picking up, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's just not like everything as a whole. You know, is it? You have siloed minds now, one track minds. So that that I guess that's just a byproduct. Yeah, it's a byproduct of that. But yeah, it's you're not going to see the wealth of innovation that you've seen, and bear with me, you guys and gals, when I say this, because you got to take into consideration the technology that was available back then. But you're not going to see the type of ingenuity and innovation that you see like in a Blaster Master, you know what I'm saying? Or games like that tried to mix it up. You know, the last few games that I think that tried to mix it up that maybe didn't, they didn't score well, but they maybe helped the next game. You know, a Two Human, Beyond Good and Evil. I mean, that's supposed to come back out, but that's taken forever. You just don't see. I mean, you see a lot more indie devs trying to do something, but from a AAA standpoint, you really don't see anybody mixing it up. So, it just makes me more fonder that we did start gaming way back in the 70s and 80s, and we just didn't get our feet wet 5 years ago. So.
Well, I think I even mentioned this earlier, you and I know that we'll see things that people are like, oh, this is all innovative. And we know that, no,
it's not. Yeah.
Not really.
That's the fourth version of it. Yeah, this is the fourth from the original
release. Play
release.
This game.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I remember Prop Cycle.
Yes. Okay.
That was weird.
Yeah. Yep. I do. It took me. It took a moment for that to register in my mind, but yeah, definitely. You're not going to get that anymore, Jamie. You're just not, and it's unfortunate. We talked about it. People that did have that forward-thinking approach, it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it. Everybody wants Call of Duty, God of War, Elden Ring. That's it. That's all they want. So.
Yeah,
and they want it every 5 months. And they want season pass 1 through 9. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my talents on that. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah, but the thing is, we know now. We don't have to. We know that everything comes and goes. We know that all the old things are new again, and vice versa. Exactly. It'll happen.
Yeah. Yep.
It is what it is.
Works in cycles. So
precisely.
Let's peer a little bit into your gaming world. So you let us know when you started gaming. How did you get introduced into gaming?
Jeez. I don't remember because I was too young.
Oh, wow.
But some of my experiences, like playing Frogger on roller skates at the Babalu in Dothan, Alabama. Yeah. Going to my neighbor's house and playing Cryptoquip or one of the racing games, or playing the Legend of the Five Rings without using the playboard because it had the board game plus the thing.
I know. Oh man.
Playing Pac-Man.
Yes.
Playing Kangaroo at the Godfather's Pizza.
Classic. Oh, Godfather's Pizza. Yes. Classic. Both.
Well, even when I moved out here and I was working at a GNC, my deposit box was right by a Godfather's Pizza, and so we would go get pizza after work. And play pinball there. Last Action Hero, they had a Snow Brothers. But we would, I actually worked at 2 arcades. I worked at an Aladdin's Castle right after Namco bought them.
Oh wow!
When Tekken 3 came out, I actually still have the arcade-only Tekken 3 shirt. I used to have a bunch of them. I have one left, and it has Namco on the butt, and it has Jin on it, and I'm a happy fangirl that way.
Yeah.
I also worked at the Cyber Station, which was the Namco branded.
Okay.
When I'd go to Dothan, I'd get them to drop me off at the mall just so I could hang out at the arcade. It was a Tilt arcade. we would play Sky Shark on my NES, or we would, I mean, we just, it was all just it was just natural. It was a part of things, arcades were everywhere. My little brother got hit by a car when he was 6.
Mm. Oh
I
wow.
mean, he lived, of course,
Yeah.
he got better. They nailed the lady for money.
Mm.
But I got dropped off at the arcade with my friend Jennifer, and I remember us playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, trying to beat the game, and this is when it was fairly new.
Yeah.
And
Another
them
classic.
the people I was playing with giving me money to keep playing because apparently I was pretty good with Leonardo. I'd always
Oh,
played as Donatello though, even though Raphael's my favorite.
Yeah.
But and we had just beaten Shredder, and they turned off the machines
Mm. Wow.
that I'd beaten that game.
Wow. But you
Just
but you did it.
you know, working, actually, I worked in another arcade, kind of, sort of. When I was at the University of South Alabama, I worked in the pool room. They had a little arcade in there. That was when Killer Instinct came out. My friend
Yes.
Marcy and I got really good at Killer Instinct, and we had a Darkstalkers and a Street Fighter Alpha 2, and but we also had a World Cup Soccer Pinball, which now, that being my favorite
Remember
pinball,
that?
I
Oh
own one.
yes. That was classic.
Well, and for like our 13th wedding anniversary, a coworker in a completely different department was selling a Theater of Magic, and we bought that. And even when you boot up the machine, it says Dan and Jamie 13 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But I mean, it's just been such an integral part of like my life that thinking of
Mm-hmm.
an origin point, I
Yeah.
really can't.
It's hard.
It's just I like to tell people, I grew up with the concepts of modern computing and video games,
Yep.
where we had computers with, I mean, at the time, I want to say that was the age of the 11-inch floppy disk, but people were still doing Fortran on punch cards.
Oh wow! Oh man, I remember. Oh Jesus, she took it back. I remember that. Yes, because I actually took a computer class as a youngin, and that's what we used. And then when the 11-inch came in, we thought it was such an innovative thing. I remember that. It was like a youth program I was in. Yeah.
I had Descent on 14 3 1/4.
Wow.
My friend built himself a chair. Avery was an interesting fella. I miss him. But he rigged a couple of joysticks and extra keypads on this chair and made himself a flight chair specifically to play Descent.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
Now people are doing like sim racing. Like Dan was into sim racing for an age and had like the whole 3-monitor racing rig and everything.
Yeah, I've seen that.
One of my other coworkers.
Yeah. Did you see the farm simulator one, Jamie? There was some guy that set up his whole his basement or something, and it looks like the inside of a truck. And it's not farm simulator; it's a truck simulator, just like that.
I know people have done that. I have not seen one in person.
Oh yeah,
but I would love to.
There was one that went viral like a month ago. I'm sure I'll send you the link. It was comical because I'm like, because the guy's like driving and it looks real. And I said, okay, this guy driving a truck. Good for him. There's cookies in the fucking mail. And then I'm like, no. This is Truck Simulator. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this is crazy. But okay.
Driving his big rig.
Yeah, exactly. He got all the modules and all. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. Yeah, so still some cool stuff happening.
I'll tell you what, the sim racing community is just really out there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like the stuff that they're doing now, it's like you may as well just have a car.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just have a car and and just drive it around the house with the flat panel on the dash. You might as well do that. Oh,
well,
so
and I'll tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
One thing that got me more into import gaming though,
was
when I was a Japanese major.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
And my friends that I met who were some of they were student teachers. So they were Japanese exchange students working with the school to help teach.
Okay.
I'd go over to my friend's house and play, their Super Nintendo, or their dorm and play their Super Nintendo and play all kinds of import games. Like one of my neighbors when I was a kid, had been his dad had been stationed in Japan,
Okay.
and he brought back over all of these Japanese games, so I got to play a bunch of stuff that didn't come out, and I didn't even realize it at the time that these were games I was never gonna see get a US release.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So Sakura, let me ask, how fluent are you in Japanese?
I'm way out of practice. Like, I could
Okay.
probably ask for directions and go shopping, and maybe I read like a semi-literate
I
5-year-old.
got you. I got
Um,
That's
I'm
better than most
planning
of us. Yeah.
I'm planning on, once we get some stuff paid off, of maybe going back
Okay.
to school to pick it back up. I tried using Duolingo for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it was okay, and then I kind of
But it
lost.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, because my son, he's in a magnet program. What they call it? I don't know if this is universal, where kids that they consider to have certain gifts or whatever, they put them in these specialized
yeah,
programs. So,
I was in a gifted program when I was a kid, not a magnet program like that, but I know what you mean.
hmm and he wanted to learn Japanese, but the school that he was assigned to didn't have Japanese. They just had Russian. And I'm like, so he took Russian just to give himself a challenge. And he's like, well, and then him and a friend of his, they were invited to go do some things in Russia last year. And for him, learning Russian was easy. For me, I failed French 3 times. So I'm like,
Oh, I
okay.
also took French.
Oh, did you? Okay. I couldn't. And French is not hard. It's just me. I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. And he gets it from his mother.
I can
But
still read it, but speaking it's a little bit more difficult now.
okay. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. He's fluent in, he learned Japanese in 8th grade. No. Well, no. Seventh, sixth, seventh, and yeah, sixth, seventh, and eighth. He learned it, and he was starting to become fluent in it. No, my other son was fluent in Japanese. My kids are smart. They didn't get it from me. So my other son is fluent in Japanese, but I couldn't get my other son in the same program that he was in. So he said, "Well, Dad, I want to learn Japanese," and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. I barely know English. So I was trying to tap you and see if you knew of any good guys, but that was the same thing he was looking into, but he never got into it. So
There are like here in my area, there is a dedicated Japanese language school,
okay,
and you might find something like that in your area.
yeah,
I just say, look online, Japanese
look
language
online,
school.
yeah, yeah.
There are also some correspondence and video courses out there too. So,
He's
but
into gaming hard. He's building his own games. He's making his own game and music, and that was the last piece of it, is him learning Japanese. And when he couldn't take the class, he was heartbroken. So I said,
oh yeah,
we'll
I can
find
imagine.
something. So we'll
They
find
ended my
something for Zane.
program, so I
Oh,
couldn't
did they?
finish it, which is part of why I moved to California.
Okay. And that's ultimately where he wants to go, right? Like, gaming is in the States, gaming is unmatched there. I think there, and then it's not even close, but it's the second, I think, is South Carolina. Is that right? Or
Oh gee, I don't know.
yeah, I heard that somewhere. I heard because my brother
I mean,
was,
there's a big dedicated Japantown in San Francisco. It's just really expensive.
ah,
San Francisco.
okay. Oh yeah. As I can imagine, yeah. So, all right. So we tackled how long you've been gaming. We've tackled how you got introduced into gaming to the best of your knowledge, because you've been doing it, since birth.
Yeah.
What is your favorite game?
The Guardian Legend.
All right, awesome. Can you talk a little
Which
bit
I
about
know
that game for people that aren't familiar with it?
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier. It
Yeah.
was the sequel to an MSX game called Gardic.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came out on the Famicom, it was Gardic Gaiden, as in
Okay.
Gardic Side Story. And it had a European release. The European cover is amazing. It looks like something Geiger would have done. Um, the US one is also okay, kind of boring. But the game is fun and hard as balls because it's a compile shooter.
Yeah.
But my second favorite game is Fantasy Zone by Sega.
Sounds familiar.
You play
Wow.
this cute little ship called the Opa Opa. It's a little
Okay.
red and blue ship with wings and feet. And it plays a lot like Defender, with cute, happy music, but the game is also pretty hard.
Oh.
And then other Space Harrier is definitely up there. I usually, when I think of favorite games, it's hard for me to name a modern game.
Mm-hmm.
Although, yeah, that's Guardian Legend. But modern game, I'm definitely gonna say Dead by Daylight in the Mass Effect series.
Okay.
And I really, really, really love Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, I gotta play that. I'm gonna get more. You guys are gonna see more PC game playthroughs and let's plays and stuff like that. And I definitely I hear so much about that game. It's crazy. So I'm definitely gonna get into that one.
But if you want to cry, play Guardian Legend.
Yeah. I see. And you know what? And shame on me, Jamie. My brother and my cousin, who are older than me, this is a game that they spoke of all the time, Guardian Legend. This is one of their favorite games.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like so many games though that it's really hard.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna hope I don't get in trouble with YouTube.
I love like Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, and I love Super Metroid, and I love Chrono Trigger, and I love my Final Fantasies, and there's just so many games. Like, it's hard to say favorite anymore because I love them. I mean, this one is definitely at my top, but but as much as I love it, I can't really play this game anymore. It's way too hard for me.
She said it's tough as nails.
This would make people who play the Souls games for fun.
Oh
cry.
yeah, I mean, like yeah. Like, it's not like I don't play the Souls games, and it's not because like if I really got into it and got the rhythm down to it, I could play it. It just doesn't interest me. But the toughness that gamers think that there's out there now does not compare to like games like even Rhaegar, to where once you die, you start from the beginning, and that was the longest ass game like known to man. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jesus Christ.
Although in that genre, though, I have to say that I liked Rastan better.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I like the music in Rastan better.
Yeah, I remember that one. Well, yeah, I can't believe that the Guardian Legend. My brother, it's now that I see the game, my brother and my cousin used to talk about this all the time. Amazing stuff.
The music in this game is great too. Just the shooting. This part of the game wasn't so hard, but it's the shooting parts that were definitely reminding you that Compile made it.
Gotcha. Yep.
So
you guys don't know nothing about tough games. Trust me.
But try playing a Toa Plan shooter. Like Zero Wing or
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Or what's the other one of Truxton?
Yeah, these games that are challenging now. I mean, the fact that you have save points that you can just immediately within seconds go to where you just died. No.
Well, and the password system in this one was a stone bitch.
Oh yeah. It was what was it, like 900 characters? Yeah.
Oh, it was like 4 sets of like 12 characters.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Although if you wanted to skip the adventures and just play it like a shooting game, you just type in TGL.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And you can play it in boss.
Yes, now I remember. Okay, now I'm remembering. You are dusting the cobwebs off my brain. Now I remember. Yes, because I would watch them play this game because I was younger when they were playing it, and I wouldn't touch the game. I was scared shitless. But I remember them like excited. I remember my cousin coming over one time and he was excited that he found that code. Now I remember. Okay. Yeah, I'd never touched that. That's why it like slipped my memory because I didn't play it. But this was the talk of the town in our house, for a moment.
I still have certain passwords, stuck in my memory. Of course, like Justin Bailey for Metroid, or Icarus fights Medusa Angels for Kid Icarus.
Okay.
Or was it Terror, Danger, Horror, ! Oh wow. Also for Kid Icarus. So
Jesus, yeah, and I probably had all those at one point in time and totally forgot. You know, for
Or
those that are too young to know what we're talking about, there weren't save systems back then because there were no memory cards or no hard drives. So when you were when you wanted to save your game, you were given a code that represented your progress in the game, and you had to remember every single character correctly, or guess what, you weren't playing.
right,
You
or
weren't
have it
playing from
written
that
down
spot
right,
again.
or have a
Yeah,
Polaroid camera.
exactly. Now some games
Now,
like Zelda had batteries built in,
yeah,
where it would
later on.
save it. Yeah, later
But
on.
like that's why, like for example, Excite Bike, you know how
Uh-huh.
it says, has a save thing, but it doesn't work
Yeah.
because it actually was back from Famicom Disk where you could save.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Hey, we're
but I mean,
learning.
for all of the Mega Man games, for the record, I would
Yeah.
sit like I would rent them and
Yes.
then spend like an hour going
Yes.
through different
Going.
combinations on that menu on the save grid where you put
Uh-huh.
in your passcode
Yep.
until I broke
Yes.
the one
Yes.
like how to get like all the e tanks and everything because it's really
Oh
just
yeah.
an if and did.
Yep. Yep.
So that
Yeah,
was
I remember doing that
pretty.
too. Yeah, just like trying to, trying to crack the code. Trying to be Mr. Robot. Yeah, I remember that. Oh man. Great times, great time. But yeah, but that's what we had to go through, whippersnappers. It was, it wasn't just sitting there, oh, I died and this is too hard, phooey. But then you just like start, right at the boss again. Now it didn't work like that.
But if we're gonna do the TLDR version, everyone play Guardian Legend, and I have a lot of favorites.
Oh wow! All right. Was there a favorite system?
I have a lot of them that I like now.
Okay.
I'm really partial to the Turbo Duo.
Okay.
I love playing Dracula X Rondo of Blood. Someone owed us $100 and paid us back with that game.
Gotcha.
I like Neo Geo a lot. Speaking of people not knowing the value of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
one of Dan's buddies traded him their Neo Geo for his Sega CD before
Oh.
I met him,
Oh.
and so we have a Neo Geo.
Awesome.
And about the last game that we personally bought for it was King of Fighters 2000.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite No, that is the favorite King of Fighters of mine.
And
yes,
it came out cheap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, my brother.
I mean, we have like Samurai Showdown 1 and 2, which actually on the Stadia front, I went right out and bought the Samurai Showdown when it came out.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I had to get the pack that had Genjuro and Chama-Cham.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh man. Woo. Yeah. Taking us back. All right. So a lot of the questions.
I can say the Sega Saturn probably would be my favorite.
Was your favorite? Okay. But there were so many. There were like the RPGs. There were just like, oh my god, were crazy. And then there was was Gunstar Heroes Sega Saturn or Genesis? I think
Gunstar Heroes was Genesis, and there was a Game Gear version, and then they did one on Game Boy Advance.
Okay. Yeah, but there was my gosh. Yeah. Okay. But Working Designs games really shine to me on the Sega Saturn.
Working Designs gave us all the treasure stuff.
Yeah.
Silhouette Mirage.
Yo, oh, Jesus.
They gave us Ray Earth without the years of dialogue in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they talked all through the Japanese version. They talked and talked. And they still talked in the US version, but the US version was pretty well done. That game was great.
When I had my Saturn, Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We bought, I think it was our Twilight Zone pinball. We bought from what's his face? Who? I can't remember his name now. Not Victor Ireland, was it? But it's gonna bug me now. But we bought our one of our pinballs from him, and he gave us like a galleon punching thing from Lunar.
Oh wow! Oh, Luna! Oh
And
Jesus!
he had the prototypes for some of the others.
That's the last thing I have. I have Lunar complete.
Yeah, it was Victor Ireland.
Oh wow! Amazing. I have
Yeah, but
Lunar
we had
complete.
Lunar Silver Star and all of
Silver,
that.
Silver
So.
Star. Yeah, I have the silver and the blue, the complete ones that came
Eternal
out on
Blue.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah.
The PlayStation versions, of course. But I would assume that the Sega Saturn versions are worth more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the working designs ones were also fairly limited, and there's
Mm-hmm.
certain ones for Ray Earth, for example, like that cost more because they had um the different characters on the Hikaru, Umi, and Fu
Okay.
on the discs. Um, but yeah, like the Lunar games though, oh god, they're kiss
Yeah.
your wallet goodbye.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for a while, when I first got my Sega Saturn, that's when the first time I was like out on my own, and so I bought everything. So I had all those RPGs, and just lost them over moves. I feel like an idiot. But I kept a few RP. I have Arc the Lad. They're all
Cool.
PlayStation
I still
though.
have mine.
Yep, I got Arc the
Yeah.
Lad 1 and 2, and then I have Lunar, Silver, Blue, Silver and Blue, Eternal Complete, and I have Grandia 2, and that's it. That is it for my collection. We're back in the day. I say I had at least 30 of them, multiple platforms. So
I'll tell you, it is what it is.
those
We
are the
when you could get your hands on those, that was what,
exactly.
it's something that I'm glad people don't let go.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, when you came, when I would come across, and one time, speaking of the aforementioned Valis, I had Valis 2, Valis 3. I already had 2, and I was looking for 3 because out of the 2, 3, I love them both, but 3 was my favorite out of the 2. I found Valis 3 again somewhere that didn't understand the classic nature of the game. Years after the fact, and I found it for $9.
Nice.
Yeah, and again, I had it and temporarily had to move stuff to my mother's house, and I don't know what they did with it. I went back to the box that I had everything in, and there was just the Genesis sitting there, one of the controllers. Everything else was gone. I'm like, no, damn it! Someone hit my stash, but oh well.
Sucks.
All right, so. Okay, so moving on to the flagship show that you helped make great, along with Rob and Loki. We talked about how OLR formed. Just give us a brief synopsis. I mean, we've covered so much, so forgive me if we did already, but give us a brief synopsis again of what it is that you guys cover on the show week to week.
Well, we went from specifically doing music games, and we expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are we do pretty much all of the kind of quirky games that we're into. I personally like to report on where games are doing good in community or where gamers are doing good.
Yeah.
I also liked like some of the little other one-off things that are just going to be more human interest in relation to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also we like to just touch with the community, let's see, touch base with the gaming community, especially some people who are a little bit more offbeat,
Mm-hmm.
or out in their own. We want to make sure that it's like we say that the gamers have a voice, and we want to
Yep.
be that voice. We want to give an outlet for other gamers to be heard. And so that's what we like to touch on. That's kind of the big thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, we want to keep people up with, what's coming out when, we want to, but the big thing on there is that we have our questions and answers, we take phone calls on the show, we have a mailbag. A lot of it is really just, again, giving the voice, being the voice,
Awesome.
being there for people to talk to, being there for, you know, reporting what people want to hear from us. We know what people want to hear from us, and that's what we try to stick to stay true to our roots. And we may not be into the calls of duty and all the other stuff like that, but what we're into, we're really into, and we'll make sure you know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I just, I love how you guys have covered games again across all genres, across all time frames, and the different perspectives that the panel provides. Again, like I said, Rob is the ultimate. He's the ultimate DJ or the MC of the whole
He's
festivities.
our facilitator.
Yes, he is great. He is great. He is superb. He is superb. And let Rob know that I said that, please. He's of the best out there, and I've worked with many people and I've worked with some people that are recognized in certain areas or whatever. But he's definitely up there at the top. Love Loki's contributions. Always just had me laughing out loud at work, and people like, "You okay, boss?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Just leave me alone. I'm having fun now. Don't come spoil it." But again, Jamie, which you've always contributed as well, has always been matter of fact, to the point. Has really forced people to put their thinking caps on when it comes to gaming and just understanding it without all the fluff. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate with the whole what the entire panel means to me. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that just elated at what you guys have been able to do. You said 20 years now?
20 years. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Amazing. I just hope people will tolerate me for another 20 minutes, let alone being able to do this for 20 years. That's really amazing.
Well, and we, we're all fairly equal in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I think that Rob predominantly just sort of stepped into facilitator just because he's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. We all tend to work, I'd say, pretty fluidly together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I like to say that. We all do our bit for Queen and Country.
Oh yeah. Yep. Awesome stuff. So now let's get over to the Stadia part, our final section. We talked about how you got into gaming, history with OLR and VOG. And again, check out, we're going to have all the links below. Orange Lounge Raider, everything that they're doing over, the fantastic people over at VOG are doing. Bobby Blackwolf, I love Bobby. I think Bobby's on right now, right? He's usually on around this time.
Bobby starts at 5 Pacific.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that's right. He's right before you guys. Okay, yep. He's right before you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a combination of like hearing you guys doing it, and I'm like, okay, these guys are fantastic, but it's just me by myself. Like my brother never wanted to do it. Like he's a super smart guy. Used to be executive. Well, no, not executive. I'm sorry. He used to be a VP at company called Stargate that was local. Mm-hmm. And tragic story behind Stargate. But Microsoft bought him. The CEO, the son. I think he was a son of another philanthropist or whatever. I don't know what you call it, But when Microsoft bought him out. That's when Microsoft was buying out everything. They bought Netscape or whatever, and they bought out Stargate. And a lot of people were upset because they were like, Microsoft was a faultier product. Why would you let you sold your soul or whatever? And the pressure mounted on him, and unfortunately, he took his life in a hotel room. So that was and it was unfortunate circumstances. But I remember my brother telling me about all the stuff that he experienced and knew what was going on at that time. But he never wanted to do this, never. And I'm like, dude, you would kill you. You're so smart. He never wanted to. So it was me by myself. So I was like, well, I said, to make something like this happen, off of what I'm hearing from OLR, it's good to have a team. But then Bobby shows that, with the chops that he got, Bobby showed that you can do this solo. You just got to know your stuff.
But there's also, though, I mean, Bobby has a behind the scenes support network, and that's really a big thing too.
Yeah.
It was one of the things I was saying is that before you go into anything like this, make sure you've got yourself a support network.
Yep. Yeah.
Because that's gonna,
so true.
If you have people you can rely on who are gonna have your back or be able to give you advice, or who have done it, have people in your corner, have people who have your back.
So
true. We would go out on a limb for Bobby any moment that that we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And we know he would do the same for us.
You got to have that support, and trust me, you don't. I'm a byproduct. Like, if you watch what I've done, like where I would say, "Hey, I got a great idea, guys. I want to do this." I'm a byproduct of not having that support system at first. We have a great support system now. Shout out to Jack Deslip and all the people behind StadiaDosage.com and all of our contributors now. But back then, when we first started this channel, we didn't have that support system. So there was things that I said I wanted to do in 2020 that were trivial, but we just started doing them this year. You know what I mean? So you got to have that support system, because you can't just brute force your way into this and think that you're going to be able to do things and do it right. Takes a village, definitely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally agree. We kind of talked about what led you to Stadia, which was Dead by Daylight. I guess if you want to elaborate on that a more, or if you want to just roll on to, it's not one of the things here is that we try to aim for enthusiasts of the platform. People that understand the platform, know what it is, know what it isn't, but they're cool with it. They're satisfied with it, whether they're gaming on it most of the time like myself, or it's just part of their gaming portfolio, kind of like your situation, Jamie. But if you were at Stadia's board, if they called you out and said, look, we love the fact that you play our platform, but we would like for you to play it more. What are some of the things that you would tell them? Well, these are the things that I think that you got wrong at the rollout and that you need to improve on to try to help people get on board to the platform.
Well, there's definitely certain games that I know people would be looking for. Like, I was really disappointed when the Quarry didn't come out on it.
Yeah.
I'm happy we have Avengers, but I really would have liked to have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
VHS. I would love to have VHS on there the way we have Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Of course, that's also going to be up to the publishers. But I think that they would need to make a way for publishing on their platform to be more cost effective and friendlier, something easier.
Absolutely.
Or, other sort of like co-op hosting, for lack of a better description.
Yep.
Definitely, I think have a way to, I guess, download, like maybe have like a download limit for a certain number of games, so that you could play some of them offline. I would like a wider range of controllers to be compatible. I tried to use my SteelSeries controller that I have on my iPad, and it didn't like it.
Oh,
That means that
that's
when I
interesting.
go to TwitchCon, I'm gonna have to find where I put my Stadia controller.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, but I mean, there's there's little things.
Mm-hmm.
I would like more upscaling options for some games.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, although I do have to say that, like, I'll just use Dead by Daylight. It's already like
Mm.
playing on Ultra. It
Oh.
looks
Oh.
great.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Cyberpunk looks
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Cyberpunk looks
know,
great. Yeah. Yep.
when people are in on my streams and they'd be like, "Oh, man, it's really good," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
playing on Stadia," and they're like, "What?"
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually found another unicorn such as myself
Uh-huh.
who plays on a Mac.
Yeah.
He had a MacBook Pro, played killer on Dead by Daylight, which I, was predominantly doing before,
Mm-hmm.
and through Stadia.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Oh my god, another unicorn!" And they were like, "Oh my god, another unicorn!" And so I keep my eyes open for anyone who has a pound sign and 4 numbers after their name.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
that is a complaint. And it is a small complaint, but it is a complaint.
Okay.
I would like for you to be able to have your in-game display name as a separate thing from what your account name is called.
Okay.
So that I can change my name to all these clever names like people do on Steam.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Are you listening,
like if
Stadia?
I play Pig,
yeah,
I want my name to be Miss Pigu.
Miss Pig. You know who does that? But it's the only game that I know does that is Division 2. So now you're forced to join our clan. No, no, that's the only game that does that. You know what I mean? But see, here's the thing though, with that's crazy. It's way more convenient in your scenario that they allow you to do that. For me, it's way more inconvenient because when I send clan invites, I'm looking at the person's Stadia name and it's like, no, my Division 2 name is Big Juicy 305. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
I look at my Dead by Daylight friends list and I'm like, okay, what are you going by now? Who is Wesker's Bussy?
Yeah, exactly.
Or there's a few of them that I know. Like one of my friends I watch, Losing Color, will every so often change his name to Bethany.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you got beat by Bethany.
Yeah.
that just makes me laugh, and I wanted to like change it to like Prudence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Ethel. Some like really old fashioned.
Exactly. Yeah.
And pretend to be
Ethel May.
A 90-year-old, lady.
Ethel May.
Oh, my great granddaughter said I'd like this game. I'm just trying to play the Dead by before morning.
The Dead by Bada Bing. I think that no, Jamie, that's a very valid request. I wholeheartedly agree. It's just it's little things like that to where you're hoping that they are working on it. I mean, I know for a fact that they're more intuitive in listening than a lot of people think they are. So hopefully, and speaking of spreadsheets, they have like a master list of all this stuff, or I'll say, because I haven't seen the master list, but they have a master list of a lot of stuff. I just hope that this is on there. You know what I mean? Because it just makes sense for it to be there.
And it's just a little, and I know part of it though is behavior.
Yeah.
Because Dead by Daylight takes username like this, like for Steam, it takes it from Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, like your PlayStation profile is. So I think that I think that if we could change our name freely, have like your public facing name will be whatever shows up in whatever game that you're playing, but you still have your pound name as like your permanent account name.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like your Nintendo friend code or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like like, or for example, my PayPal account has one name on it, but it
Mm-hmm.
has like
Yes.
a profile name,
Yes.
or
Exactly.
or Twitter does it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I think that's something I know Xbox has always been doing that. I remember PlayStation was having of all platforms, they had a difficulty doing that, and now they've given you like a stage name or something. I think that happened like 3 years ago, but nonetheless, it's become customary in gaming. And I get that Stadia is not a mainstream platform at the moment, but it's something that if you aspire to be one, these are one of the things that you're going to want to implement. So it makes perfect sense.
It's getting better.
Yep,
Getting
absolutely.
a lot better. We're seeing more and more. I was looking at like some of the upcoming. Pretty excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have one concern, and that's when games are removed, since it is a cloud-based service and it's a game I've paid for. I think it would be fair to be provided a voucher to download it on another service.
Now, I don't know if has there any
company.
I don't think there's any games that have been removed that I'm aware of.
There's a few coming up on the discontinued list.
Oh, what? Now I know that
I ran across it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I ran across a couple when I was looking at the freebies for the month, but I'd be hard pressed to name it as something I wasn't really interested in.
Mm-hmm. Now I know there's been games that there's been questions over support. And what it sounds like is we've had like an accumulation, particularly when you talk about games that have game-breaking bugs in them. There's like 4 of them that they're unfortunately they're devs or publishers that's like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, or we're just not going to fix it. Which and it's
not a priority.
Yeah, it's not a priority, which sucks. Which definitely sucks. It may help to put pressure on it, because I think what it is that, again, it's 4 games out of the almost 300 that they have. I know there was some content out there that like, focused on it again. They tried 5 months ago. The community didn't really react, and then now we reacted this time because it was on the heels of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I don't know how much you pay attention to the community whoop-to-do. I'm backing away from it.
So much Assassin's Creed on there.
Oh my, yeah, exactly.
It just got Saints Row.
Yeah, but no, that's the crazy thing. No, Assassin's Creed Mirage that has no release date yet, Jamie, because it's not announced for Stadia. It means that Ubisoft is leaving the platform and Stadia's dead in 3 weeks.
No, I don't. Shit. People live by their damn hyperbole.
Yeah,
it's always got to be an extreme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And no, just don't.
I know.
Don't. That's it. Don't.
Stop. Yeah. Like, why? But see, I think me and you and other people, and they call Stadia. They try to call Stadia the dad system, which I don't know where that came from. But I guess what they're trying to say is the young whippersnappers are trying to say is that the quote unquote only people that defend it are the older gamers. So of course, naturally, it has to be the dad system, right?
And by the way, how gendered is that, please?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was hitting to. Like, it's got to be the dad system, because when you talk about older gamers, you're only talking about dads, right? Yeah. So, so it's the dad system, and
I prefer also to call us seasoned.
Yes, exactly. You could call it the season system. Season like Laurie's. But my thing is, I think that. No, it's just that older gamers, seasoned gamers, as Jamie put it out there, are more seasoned in the knowledge base of when platforms are starting up. These are the bumps that they go through. Like, opposite of PlayStation, nobody had a super fast rise to the top. Everybody had to really like fight in the trenches and earn respect. I think PlayStation just came out.
They fought for it.
Yeah, they came out at an ideal time, and they really did. They had great marketing. They knew what to do, knew what their identity was, and they really worked it. But everybody else, really had to earn respect. Xbox, when they came out, they got shellacked, and now Things are different now.
I was at E3 the year they announced it.
Yeah. Oh, were you? Oh, that's awesome.
I was on that long, like, platform.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Were you there when that was when The Rock was there, right?
Huh?
When The Rock was there, was that E3 when Rock was there? Or was that the initial announcement?
I think that actually, I think I knew that was the year that Paris Hilton was there.
Oh, okay.
Or it might have been, no, it was the year before Paris Hilton was there, because the Paris year was last year I was there.
Okay. You would know better than me. I came close to going to one E3. Never made it.
I think I've been to like 4 of them.
Oh my! I'm not even worthy.
It became crap.
Cut the tape, producers. I'm not even worthy. This is official. I've been trying, scratching and clawing to get to one. I was so close. But
it's not what it was, so it's not worth it.
I've heard that a lot. Have you been to a Gamescom yet?
Yeah, or Tokyo Game Show. I'd like to go to that.
Okay, yeah. Now that's Tokyo Game Show, TGS, or Gamescom. That's what I now the new E3, like Gamescom is the new black. You know what I mean, as they say. So, I definitely want to get there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not that it's the dad system, or it's not that, me and other content creators that have more of a positive outlook on things. Like, we talk about the issues, but we have a more positive outlook on things overall while talking about the issues as well. I think we're looked at as, oh, you guys are just, making up excuses, because it's like, no, we understand these are the early years, and we understand we've seen this before. We've seen this playbook before to a degree. It takes time to get gamers respect. So, they're putting out a good product. They're putting out a product that is, when you extrapolate data or look at stuff from analysts like Statista, they tell you that Stadia Pro in the US makes up 18% of the subscription models, but GFN, the thing that's supposed to be blowing Stadia away, is at 19% in its largest sector. So Stadia's not doing that bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then think about this too, Jamie. Stadia Pro is just one way Stadia makes money. GFN subscriptions are the only way they make money. They don't make money off DLC. They don't make money off of game purchases. None of that stuff. Microtransactions, none of that. So when you take that into consideration, this motif that Stadia's, doing horrible is silly to me.
These people just hate shit to hate shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, why are you so hateful? Did no one hug you when you were a kid?
I think not. They need a hug and kiss. Yeah, they need a hug and kiss.
Like, you need a hug. Therapy. Have both, please.
By the way. Therapy simulator. That should be the next game that Stadia gets, please, for all these
people would then say, "Oh, I talked to my therapist the other day." Like, girl, no.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No.
Yeah. Awesome. Last question, Jamie.
Right.
If you had a seat at the executive board, what would you like to see done over the next 12 months? Like, what would you do if you're like, Phil Harrison, get the hell out of my way? I'm calling the shots here. What was it that you would implement over the next 12 months?
Cosmetically, one of them would be the name.
Okay.
The name thing.
Yeah.
I would also say have a customized profile and curated friends lists that you could import from game to game.
Gotcha.
I would say certainly attract more publishers, make it easier to publish.
Yeah.
And those are just the simple things in the next year.
Yep.
Just make it friendlier, make it more customizable. Because this is a big thing, is that people are pulled in by cosmetic shit. I'm just gonna say it that way.
Yep. No, that's true.
People like it to be pretty, and they want to be able to have their name. They want their own expression. That's just human nature, And I think that if you give, like, when they implemented a search That was big.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. It
But
was so ironic, but
I would also like to see them do some of what Steam is doing and allow for more classic games,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have like, I guess, like an emulator mode or something,
Oh,
or
that would be awesome.
have
Oh
like,
my
oh,
God,
you get the
jeez.
Dreamcast bundle,
Yeah, that would be
But
awesome.
but
Because it's all about the
definitely, I think,
platform. Yeah, it's all about the magic of the platform. So why not? You know what I mean?
and it's a
So.
really easy interface to use, I'll give it
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think just a few more quality of life things,
Yeah.
and definitely bringing in um just a few more big titles, bring in a few more
Exactly.
looking for,
Yep.
and have a way to do offline play
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
games that are,
I hear. Yeah.
yeah. Those would be the big things. And I think all of those actually would be feasible in a
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yep.
Especially the cosmetic stuff. Start a little bit at a time. Ease it into that. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, there is one more thing.
Okay.
Advertise
What's that?
by TV time.
Oh, yeah.
By Twitch ads.
Yeah.
Advertise. You've got to market yourself more and better.
That's one of the more frustrating things that people have with the platform, because they look at Twitch. I mean, they look at Luna, for instance, and they're like, Luna does more of that. I mean, there are signs that they're doing a little bit more. I don't know if it's fear that they're, if they advertise on YouTube, it'll be a monopoly thing or what. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, man, like put this stuff out there. Like I one of the things that I said, I had a great discussion with, shout out to Purple Haze. She's a very well knowledgeable person in the community, and I agree with a lot of things that she say. And she's one of my favorite people to debate with. So that was one of the things I brought up. I said, Purple, look, they're doing a lot of wonderful shit. Like this click to play links and shit, and the damn the demos. Like there's 175 demos at least now that you can play for 30 minutes or more. I said, nobody knows about this. Like, why not send some dude? You know how you got these young college dudes out at, in front of malls and stuff like that, and they're asking people questions with their phone. I think it's so dweebish, but a lot of people like it now. A lot of young kids like it now. So why not send one of those dudes out to or send a guy or girl out with a phone, talking to people coming out of a GameStop, just blur out the bag and say, hey, I bet you that I can get you to play Stadia and like it. Oh no, hell no. No, try it out here. And they have them try it on different platforms. And then, of course, through the magic of editing, you keep the ones where the people are positive and they're like, oh my God, this is an awesome experience. All right, here you go. Here goes a code for 60 free days of Stadia Pro. You know what I'm saying? And you try the challenge. Try Stadia right now. Try these demos. And if you like any of them and you do some X amount of time in them, here goes a code. You'll get a code for 60 free days on the platform. You know what I mean? Something like that. I know that may be over the top, maybe crazy or whatever, but something to advertise all the good stuff that you're doing.
What about sponsoring content creators?
Yeah. Oh, see. Now you hit a live wire. But go ahead, because that was something that buckled the community for a while. But go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, like how Behavior for Dead by Daylight, they have their fog whisperers.
Yeah.
Who are ambassadors for the game.
Yep.
You have your the fog whispers, they can be critical of the game. They can, be how they are. There's drag queens, there's all kinds of people. But I think that if they have something like that where it's recognized creators are on Stadia, and that have it not limited to YouTube, but to Twitch or any other type of streaming, not that they're shoehorned into, only Stadia content, but just that, hey, we're highlighting so-and-so this month, and here's what they're doing with our platform.
Exactly. Yes. I like that idea. I like it.
Just like that. It doesn't have to be paid or anything.
Yeah.
But But some people just like the recognition,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
on top of that, when you've got the big company recognizing the streamer, who may not be a big streamer, that's going to help the streamer out. The more the
Hmm.
streamer gets helped out, the more they're willing to say, hey,
Yes. Yeah.
and I mean, I'm always going to be honest about it. I don't think everything about Stadia is perfect,
Hmm.
but I think that
Absolutely.
everything that it's doing now, it's doing well.
Collectively, exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We can point. We can
There's
point out
more
where
good than bad.
we can point out where things need to be improved without AC Mirage isn't coming. Oh my God, Soylent Green is people. We're not out here running like it's crazy.
I have a firm thing I believe in, and that's to be critical of what you love.
Yeah. Yes. Same here too.
Because
Like
when you stop being critical of it, you
Mhm.
start being a cultist.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's why when yeah, I mean here, like we get pegged for being enthusiasts. And it's just what it is that collectively more than not we're happy with the platform. But we don't cry over spilled milk here, I feel. But we have called out things that we want to see better. Like I think it's time again. I'm with Jamie here. Jamie proved if Jamie says it, it's gospel. All right. Jamie proved my point. You don't need 3,000 frames per second in order to have a smooth experience. Like, and really, if you have a flat 50, you can have a mid mode where it's a flat 50 frames per second, and instead of the base resolution being 1080p, maybe bump it up to 1440p. I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean? And I think that giving people more options is the stuff is the way to go. So,
Totally.
you got it. There's got to be things that you want, and on StadiaDosage.com we have a wish list. You don't have a wish list if you think everything is perfect, so go check out our wish list, add it on there. And because Stadia's paying attention to a degree, but sometimes it takes us being louder and being to the point about things, and not just going to Reddit and arguing amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? Like a group of hobbits. You go to go to the people who are responsible for doing what we need them to do and tell them. Period. Exactly. You know what I mean? So wonderful stuff. All right. With that said, Jamie,
we are of a similar mind. I was just saying we are of a similar mind.
Absolutely.
Or great minds think like us.
Great minds think. I love that. Great minds think like us. Well, Jamie, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Like we literally could do this all day, but I know you got to get ready for OLR. Got to get, you got to take a break so you can. I hope I didn't take all your energy away from doing the show. You know what I mean? I'm glad you.
I got a couple hours to regain it. I'm probably just gonna sit back and stare at the YouTube and eat some lunch.
Cool, awesome stuff. Thank you so much.
I've been mildly obsessed with honest trailers lately, so that's probably what I'm gonna watch.
That's again. My brain fusion is slow. Honest trailers. What is that again?
Oh, it's like the guy with the epic voice does, trailers about games and movies and stuff.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I saw one last year. Yeah. So, thank you so much for coming through. This was not just a delight. This was a treasure. I know this can sound cheesy and people's gonna be like, oh, MM2K, like, stop it. But you guys don't understand, like, when I was listening to these fine people, they inspired me in a way that if that domino doesn't fall, none of the other dominoes fall after it, and I'm not here. So I owe so much to OLR. I owe so much to you, Jamie, just for connecting at that gamer nerd level, and the insight that you provide. And man, we got to do this again at some point in time. I'd love to do this again. It was great stuff. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, absolutely a pleasure and a delight anytime.
Awesome. Again, before we go, let the great people know if they don't know where to find you. Shame on them, damn it, and I'm going to flog them. But for those anyway, let them know where they can find you.
I am on Twitter as DarkSakura, DAKSAKURA. Wait, DARKSAKURA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, I got that wrong. Oh my goodness, nigga.
I am on Twitch as DarkSakura _OLR. And then my podcast can be heard at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time live at VOG Network, Victor Oscar Golf Network, all one word. I do for my own channel. I do Dead by Daylight on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 Pacific. I do Final Fantasy IV on Saturday at 8 Pacific p.m. And I do Dead by Daylight at 8:30-ish on Sunday, and Cult of the Lamb on Monday at 8. So I'm a 5-day streamer. And I'm around. Oh, I'm on TikTok also as DarkSakura _OLR.
Okay, cool.
So you can see my cat, my pinballs. Sometimes me. I might be a little drunk. So
just a little.
Those are the big places. That's
awesome.
it.
Awesome. Definitely, I will be checking out. Well, I got to check with the wife. She's a big Game of Thrones enthusiast, and she has yet to catch up on House of the Dragon, I think it is. So I got to sit through and suffer through that.
The Chair of Swords.
She loves that medieval stuff. Oh, she thrives off of it. She thinks she's a Viking. I might even have the wrong eras together, but she thinks she's one of them. Yeah, she punches like one too. So with that said, wow, what an honor. My favorite episode, 101. Send the books. And until next time, everyone, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Bye, y'all.